Good morning, campers. It is July 4th, 2019. We are westbound on I-70 in the great state of Kansas. As you can see out my window, absolutely nothing. The beautiful state of Kansas. I love this state. It is such a fun time to drive through. Also, we're going uphill and I'm getting 9.3 miles to the gallon, so you know, pretty okay with that. Hey. Pretty okay with that. But yeah, we're heading toward Denver. We've got a load of soap picked up from near St. Louis, just on the Illinois side of the line. We are, I think I'm heading for home time. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm gonna see if they've got another load for me that I can do after this to get a little bit closer, but I'm trying to visit my sister up in Rapid City. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of freight in Rapid City. We're to Rapid City. We're out of Rapid City. We're near Rapid City. So I may just have to settle with a 300-mile deadhead to get up there, and then a 300-mile deadhead to get out. Which, you know, it happens. It happens. I'm okay with the fuel on that. Driving empty will be pretty fuel efficient. Just kind of wish I was on the regional side for this one, because I feel like they could have a little bit more luck finding me an independent load that would get me in and out of there. Even if they don't have any contracts that could, they might at least be able to find me something cheap on a load board somewhere that would run me in, run me out, and pay for the fuel. But we'll worry about that if and when we switch to the regional side. For now, we are still on prime trailers, pulling food, or in this case, soap. Yeah, it's a fun fact. This is a dry load in a reefer trailer. So they loaded us almost to the doors with soap products, and then we get to keep the reefer off for this run. So I get to keep a little more money in my pocket, which is good, because this trailer is a fuel hog. We have a 2019 series trailer. That thing was burning through most of a tank of fuel every single day on that frozen French fry load we just hauled before this. But I'm pretty happy with this load. We're getting about $1,800 for an 800 to 870 mile run. So 1,800 miles for a 700 or a 870 mile run. That's a good profit margin for me, because depending on how many miles I get in a week, my truck costs between 75 cents and $1 per mile to run. Good fuel economy can help that. So we're looking at about $1 per mile profit on this load. So I'm pretty happy there. Pretty happy there. I might actually just be positive for this week off this one load. Even taking the whole rest of the week off. Maybe. It depends on how much we spend in fuel to get up to my sister's house. We'll see. We stopped at the Oak Grove 70, which is one of the bigger truck stops in the country. It's part of the same chain as the Iowa 80, world's largest truck stop. It's part of that same group of TA Petro truck stops. But the Oak Grove 70 is a little bit smaller. Still got an automat, still got a big cat scale place, still got a huge shop and a huge store. And stopped there to get the new map book, and they don't have it yet. Like, alright, because the 2020 Atlas is out, and I'm one of those weirdos who buys the new Atlas every single year, because why wouldn't you buy the new Atlas every year? I want the most up-to-date information I can possibly have at my fingertips as far as the maps go. So that is the new Atlas. I justify it as that I don't buy GPS updates or anything like that. I don't have a GPS unit. I have a basic GPS that's built into the truck. It's part of my e-log system. That comes from Prime, and that's pretty reliable, but you know, not 100% still. And then I use Google Maps for, basically I put my route that I pick from my Atlas into Google Maps. I don't let Google Maps tell me where I'm going, because that is a recipe for disaster. Letting a car GPS like Google Maps tell you where to go is how you get stuck under a bridge or on a road you can't turn off of, or attempting to do a U-turn in a West Virginia city and getting your trailer wedged between two Jersey barriers that it turns out are only 52 feet apart instead of 53. But yeah, so we don't actually follow the Google Maps. We just get our route from the atlas and the driver-written directions for our customers, and we add that to Google Maps. And we use waypoints and stuff to, if Google Maps does not default to the correct route, we use waypoints, additional stops in Google Maps to force it onto the right route. And then Google Maps is effectively just a mini map that also happens to show speed traps, traffic, and accidents up ahead. So that's pretty nifty. Pretty darn nifty. It's also very handy going through major metro areas, because a lot of times it will jump to alternate routings that are truck legal. Like if you're approaching a metro area, it'll generally stick to the loop highways around the metro if the main highway through town is backed up. So that's a pretty good way to tell that you need to take a diversion. And it helps you. It can help you decide on which of the diversions to take if there's more than one. So it's pretty nifty, but you got to be real careful with letting Google Maps suggest you anything, because again, it's not truck routing. You got to use your atlas. And the atlas is not perfect. The atlas is very much not perfect. I happen to know of a road in Arkansas that's listed as truck legal in the atlas that has a 70,000 pound weight limit. So, you know, you gotta live and learn sometimes. But for the most part, the atlas is the most reliable of the GPS, of the mapping alternatives. So, yeah, we are westbound in Kansas. I will see you guys when we get to our delivery, I think, which is going to be a Walmart distribution center north of Denver. We're going to drop this trailer, grab another one, and either hang out or head for Rapid City. I don't know yet. I don't know. We haven't chosen at all. I might stop in Denver. I think I've got to do a 2-hour break today, because we've been chaining 8-2 splits for the last 2 days. The Dial distribution center near St. Louis took a really long time to load. I felt bad, because there was a Prime driver there had the same appointment as me, and he was there first. He was already backed into the dock when I pulled in, and he'd been there an hour. So I pulled in, and then 5.5 hours later, they had finished loading me, and he was still sitting in the dock, and he said he hadn't felt a single pallet go on. So I felt kind of bad about that. I got a good nap in, but that counted as a 2-hour break for purposes of an 8-2 split, even though it was 5.5 hours. I got a good 4 hours of sleep in that nap. So I drove for 4.5 more hours, did an 8-hour break, which got a lot of good sleep on that. Drove another 7 to 8. I drove about 7 hours after that, and then took another 8-hour break. And now we're back on a diurnal schedule where I'm awake during the day and driving during the day and sleeping at night, because I'm about to visit family members who do not work on nocturnal shifts. So we've rotated back around to running during the day with an 8-8 split, effectively. For those who are not in the know, an 8-8 split works exactly like an 8-2 split, except both of the 8-hour breaks don't count against your 14-hour clock. So if you can arrange it so you've got a whole bunch of hours between the two 8-hour breaks, you can actually do a decent day's drive and then take an 8-hour break. And if you can force yourself to sleep, you can really push your next day a lot earlier forward. And we've got all day today to deliver, so we can drop any time before midnight tonight, which means I was able to get that extra sleep in. But we don't have a full day's hours right now. We've got 4 hours and 20 minutes. Nice. We've got 4 hours and 20 minutes until we have to take a 2-hour break, or another 8, but I'm going to take a 2, because I don't think I've got time for another 8. We'll do a 2-hour break. That'll get us a big chunk of hours back. So effectively, we'll have a full day's worth of hours starting from when I left my rest area parking space this morning. and then we'll be able to go deliver, and we'll have a whole bunch of hours left over if I want to get up toward Rapid City. So that'll be nice. That'll be real nice. I'm looking forward to it. A couple days off. We did a reset this week, which makes going straight into home time now a little bit frustrating because I've got a lot of really good hours I could run. I'd rather do the time off at the end of my 70-hour clock when I need a reset than right toward the middle of it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We've been profitable this week, so we're good. We're good. We'll have one bad week from the home time, and then I'm going to be out for a couple months again, making that money. Freight's picked back up again, so we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty darn good. Them French fry loads, they're worth a lot, dude. Making that money. Where are we? We're coming up on Oakley, Kansas. Is this where the TA is? There's a TA here, right? TA and a Sonic, I think. Or just a 24/7 with a McDonald's. I'll take either one. It's breakfast time. Grab some food, hit the road, go back to listening to my book. Oh, so yeah, that's another thing I wanted to do. I wanted to plug two things I've been listening to like crazy this week. I picked up a podcast that I started listening to, and I basically went through every single episode of this podcast already. It's called Behind the Bastards. It's a really good podcast about the worst parts of humanity. And it's not a true crime podcast. It's just like, hey, here's an entire podcast about how hilariously evil Stalin was, or Hitler, or well, they've done a couple episodes on different parts of Hitler because, you know, it's low-hanging fruit. But like they covered King Leopold and what he did to the Congo and Africa, all for the sake of getting rich quicker for off of rubber. It's horrifying. And then he hit Idi Amin, which was kind of a sequel to the Leopold one. It's fascinating stories. Just a really great podcast, and I've gone and listened to every episode already. So check that out. That's called Behind the Bastards. And then the other thing that has kept me from listening to all my other podcasts is one of my favorite authors just put out a really good book. It is an absolutely huge book, which I believe the author thinks is basically the best thing he's ever written, and I'm inclined to agree. I'm about halfway through right now. The book is called Wanderers by Chuck Wendig. That sign is completely garbled. It's Wanderers by Chuck Wendig. It's about a kind of an apocalypse, a modern day apocalypse story set in the modern day where a whole bunch of people suddenly just start sleepwalking across America. So the book's about the sleepwalkers, and they can't be stopped. They can't be hurt. They can't, like, nothing can stop them. But they're just walking across the country, and every city they walk through, more people join them, and it's a fascinatingly creepy book. And so the book is about the shepherds, the people who walk with the sleepwalkers. They walk with the flock to keep them safe and keep them, clean them up and watch over them. Because if they get stopped from walking, they die. So it's a really interesting book. Because the main characters are, of course, the shepherds and the CDC guys trying to figure out why the sleepwalkers are happening. It is a good book. I'm only halfway. I thought I just guessed the ending of the book a few chapters ago. Like, they kind of telegraphed where it was going, and then like 2 chapters later, they revealed that thing that I guessed to the rest of the characters, and I'm like, all right. Like, the twist that I saw coming is now here, and I've still got half of this book to go. Oh boy, where's this going? So I cannot wait to see where it goes from here. It has been a really good book so far, and I highly recommend it. It's called Wanderers by Chuck Wendig. It's technically called Wanderers, a novel, because Wanderers is a little bit generic, I guess. But it is Wanderers, a novel by Chuck Wendig. Check it out. Ellie approved. Apophis recommended. best listened to on the speakers of a Freightliner Cascadia. I've got the audible version, if that wasn't clear from the fact that I was talking about listening to it. The narrators are excellent. Oh, you're turning? You're turning? Yes! You are turning, which means I can turn, which means we are good. Good. Mind my tandems. This load's a bit tail heavy, so our axles are at all the way at the back, which I do not like driving with my axles all the way at the back. It's a little bit on the dangerous side. Alright, let's pull in here. This RV blocking every single truck fuel pump by parking where he parked. We're just gonna walk across the street to the Sonic and grab breakfast. But yeah, highly recommend Wanderers. Check it out if you like that kind of book. It's a very Stephen King-esque novel so far. Fantastic. I've got a good spot here. It's a little bit of a blind side, but that's fine. It's fine. It's a double wide blind. It's a double wide blind side, so it should be relatively easy. And it's an angled spot, so I can keep my mirrors on the tail of the trailer. Little adjustment. Yeah, we're good. And bam, we are here. Hello, Prime. Lights off, engine off, steering wheel less in the way. All right, food time, and I'll see you guys wherever we deliver. 18 minutes. Oops, that was a little longer than I meant it to be. Sorry. I guess this is the most of the video now. Oops. I'll try and record something else at least. Later. LeoDare, AzarAngel17 on Twitch.tv, LeoDare on Twitter, Xbox Live, Steam, Switch, and everywhere else. Come say hi on Twitter. That's the best place to get a hold of me, because I assume I'm going to be going into a musical thing after this. But yeah, come say hi on Twitter. That's the best place to find me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely let me know if you enjoy the videos. Comments are always appreciated. I do read them all, so they are down there. There we go. And have a great day.